Hi guys, thank you all for joining. I'm Kit from Kit Does Yoga. It's about 6:25 now according to my time. We're going to get started at about 6:30. So if you're here, please say hi. That's how I know you're here. So thanks for joining. So I'm going to go ahead and comment that like I usually do. I'll give you guys a heads up as well. I had some problems earlier today with my internet cutting out. I'm a little bit closer to the router than I was, but if it cuts out, no worries. I'll just jump on another live stream and we'll keep going. But I'm crossing my fingers that it doesn't happen. It's only happened once during these live classes, but today's just been kind of weird with my internet. So we'll see. We'll see, and we'll make it work either way. So yeah, like I said, we'll make it work. I went ahead and posted some announcements in the description of the live video. But if you are joining us, this is going to be a 50-minute class. It's free for anyone to join, but if you feel inclined to leave a tip, I have a PayPal link set up for that. I have also created a Facebook event for these live classes. I'm going to be doing them every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. again Eastern Time. So if you want reminders about that, go ahead and respond to the Facebook event. That way you can get reminders for when the events are coming up. Of course, I'll post about them here and on Instagram, but you'll get those Facebook reminders during the day as far as the events go. So I posted that in the description as well if you want to RSVP to that, interested or going. And I also posted it, I posted it in the description for this video, and it's also on my Kit Does Yoga page. So if you just go to the events there, it should be the first one because it's pretty much the next event coming up. Since there are not that many in-person events coming up. So go ahead and find that in the events tab of the Kit Does Yoga page. I created that because I like to get the reminders for them as well. So I definitely RSVP'd myself as interested. I couldn't click on going for some reason. So I said interested, and then you'll get those reminders as well. Just a heads up though that I'll still be doing the live streams on the Kit Does Yoga page rather than the event. So if you go, I know there's a way to do it from inside the event, but that's harder to access for people, especially if you're not RSVP to the event. It's kind of harder to go find the event and then go to it. So instead, I'm just going to keep doing them like we are here on the Kit Does Yoga page, so that if you go to find Kit Does Yoga, if you follow me, it'll just pop up right in your timeline. So you don't have to find an event or anything like that. So we're just about ready to get started. I wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek into today. We're actually going to work on Eagle Pose, which is a standing balance pose. There's a lot going on with that. Your legs are crisscrossed, your arms are crisscrossed. It's a little bit of an advanced pose. I'll be sure to show you it. And we're going to do some prep poses to work on it as well. Like we're going to practice doing some different stretches so we can stretch out our legs, and then when we cross them, they'll be ready to cross. And we're going to open up our shoulders a little bit, so when we cross our arms as well, our shoulders will be nice and warmed up. We'll also warm up balances as well with a little bit easier balance, so that you will be able to warm up that as well. So in about a minute or so, I'm going to wait about one more minute. for anyone to join. So for those of you just joining us, my name's Kit from Kit Does Yoga. This class is free. It's going to be about 50 minutes. There's a link in the description for this with a PayPal link if you feel like you want to leave a tip. And there's also a link to our Facebook event if you want to get reminders about these. So thanks for joining us. We're going to be working on eagle pose today. So that's everything I've said in the past 5 minutes in like 1 minute. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead. Oh, last thing. I knew I forgot something, but please say hi if you're joining us at any time. If you jump in, please just say hi and that you're here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So go ahead and come onto your mat. So we're going to start in child's pose here. So just a nice easy pose to get started. Option to take your knees wide, depending on the floor you have at home. If that's hurting your knees, feel free to grab a towel, a blanket, or if you want to just double up your mat underneath your knees, you can do that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and lengthen out my mat, take my knees wide, and then go ahead and walk your hands forward until you find a comfortable position. Maybe you stay on your forearms, maybe you stack your forearms and bring your forehead to that stack, or maybe you let your forearms go long and you bring your head down to the mat. So bringing your head onto the yoga mat as you reach your arms forward. So just going ahead and finding a child's pose. Try and keep your head centered, so forehead down on your forearms or the mat. I'm going to face the side just because I'm talking to the camera. But you can also face your forehead to the side. Sometimes if I'm doing like bedtime yoga, I'll do this because it's easier to breathe. I don't have my face smushed into the pillows or the mattress. But just find a place you can be comfortable. Let your body relax. Try and sink in here, noticing all the connection points between you and your mat and this child's pose. Oh. Hi, John. Thanks for joining. Mel, I know you Instagram me if you're watching. Hi, Mel. Thanks for joining. I don't know if you commented and I can't see it. I can't always see all the comments. So if you've commented and I haven't said hi, I'm really sorry, but Facebook is weird sometimes. But again, we'll just work with it. So just resting here in this child's pose. Try and bring your awareness to your breath here. So your inhales and exhales. Notice your breath coming into your body, filling up your chest and belly. And as you exhale it, entering out your nose or your mouth. Listening and feeling as all the air rushes in and out of your body. And just starting to bring your mind's eye to it. And then we'll notice our breath as it changes throughout the class as we do some of the harder poses. Some of the poses meant to challenge our breath, challenge our awareness, where our mind is going, whether that's, I love this pose or I hate this pose. But you always just want to keep your mind on your breath, see what's going on. Breathing here in and out. Go ahead and take one more breath here in this child's pose. And then if you haven't already, let your arms go long, maybe your head comes up. And then we're going to thread the needle from here. So always an option to come up a little bit if this is uncomfortable. But you're going to take your right hand and thread it underneath your left armpit. So I'm sliding it on the mat underneath my left armpit. And I'm coming to rest on my right shoulder. Maybe my right face, the right side of my face, my right cheek comes down onto the mat for a full thread the needle here. And then options for your left hand is it can walk forward, or if it wants, it can wrap all the way behind your low back. So finding a low back bind here. So stretching through the upper back here. We're already starting to prep for eagle pose by just taking a nice stretch through the upper back, through our shoulders, as we begin to open them up. Take a breath in and out. One more breath in. And on your exhale, go ahead and release your hand from behind your back and put it back in front of you if it's not already there. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So go ahead and pull your right hand back towards center. And then take your left hand and thread it underneath your right armpit. So my back's going to be towards the camera for a second as I show you how to get into this pose. But same thing, you're just going to take your left hand, slide it underneath your right armpit, come onto your left shoulder and maybe your left cheek. So you can see it from the back here, what it looks like a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and spin around, moving magic here. And then same options for your right hand, either reach it forward, walking it forward a little bit more. Maybe you take some teeny tiny fingertip steps, or if you want, you can wrap it behind your low back here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and keep my arm reaching long on this side so you can see what that looks like. And again, I'm opening up through my back, through my shoulders, getting a nice stretch there. Always an option to come up more onto your knees, lifting your hips up a little bit if that feels good as well. So this can feel kind of crunched with your hips all the way back. I realized my knee was kind of in my armpit, which is sometimes difficult, especially if you're not warmed up. Again, we'll take a breath on this side in and out. Inhale to fill up, even from this twist. Exhale, release your right hand if it's behind your back. And then start to unwind from this side. So coming back into child's pose. And then we're actually going to move onto our backs. So go ahead and just flip over onto your back. That's what's nice about these videos, is that you can just flip over onto your back. So go ahead and roll back. Keep your right knee into your chest, send your left leg long, and start to circle your right ankle. So just twirling it, drawing some circles with your toes. So warming up the ankle here, because I mentioned eagle pose is a balanced pose. So we're going to warm up the ankle a little bit. And if you haven't already, go ahead and switch and circle your ankle the other way. So if it was going clockwise, start to send it counterclockwise, or vice versa. Might feel a little funny the first few turns. And then from here, you can stay here or take your right knee across your body over to the left for a supine twist. So my right leg is coming over to the left side of my body. I like to take my hand to my left knee. You can also use it as a support on the other side. And then my right arm is going to go out to the right, and I'm going to glance to the right. So again, I'm talking away from the camera. But just gaze towards your right arm for a full body twist here, stretching from my right outside hip all the way up through my right side of my torso, and then out my right arm. So getting a nice full body twist here. Twists are really nice to warm up too, because as we start moving with the class, we'll be doing a little bit more twisting while we activate the core. So it's nice to just stretch out those muscles to start off with. Go ahead and take one more breath here. And then on your exhale, unwind, come back through center. And then take your right knee out to the right. So just starting to warm up our hips, the inside of your hips now. This time I am going to use my right hand as a support underneath my right knee. And just let gravity help it stretch out a little bit. Notice if your left hip is coming up, if it's starting to peek out, and bring it back onto the mat. So my left glute is right on the mat here. My right knee, as you can see, is lifted. It's not quite on the ground. I mean, maybe you can get on the ground. Maybe you're more flexible than me. But I'm going to let gravity help me here. Let my right knee just fall down. And then on your next inhale, bring your knee back through center. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull my left knee in, and I'm going to cross my right foot on top. So this is called lady legs. You're basically just crossing your legs. So my thighs are crossed, my right leg is on top here. And then I'm going to take my arms out. We're going to take a second version of supine twist, one that's a little bit higher or more twisty. But from here, I'm just going to take my legs over to the left. So they're just falling to the left. I'm keeping them crossed. And same thing, you take this as deep as you want. So you can stay up here, maybe go on your toes, or bring your right knee even closer to the ground. So what this does is it actually brings a little bit more weight into your leg. It also takes your right leg closer to the ground, gets you a little bit more stretch in the outer right hip. So doing this because we're starting to get into that twisted legs for our eagle pose, and also it's a way to kind of advance the supine twist we did earlier. On your next inhale, go ahead and unwind from this side. And then we're going to switch it out. So send your right leg long and pull your left knee into your chest. And again, we'll start here by taking some circles with the left ankle. So circling around and then circling the other way. Clockwise and counterclockwise. Again, warming up the left leg now for when we do eagle on our left foot. And then from here, we'll take a supine twist on this side. So bringing your ankle back to stillness, take your left knee over to the right. And again, you take this as far as you want. You can even stop here. That's totally fine. But taking your left knee over to the right, this time your left arm is going to go out, and I'm facing the correct way this time as my gaze goes to the left as well. You can keep your arms straight if you got lots of space here, like I do. Or if you're like me on the other side where there's not a ton of space, you can go ahead and bend your elbow at a right angle. I'll call this goalpost arms from here. And then you get the same stretch here as your left arm falls into the mat. Gravity helps it pull down, getting that stretch all the way along your left side body now. Take one more breath in and out, and then unwind from this side. And we'll take our left leg out to the left side. So this time you want to keep your right glute planted. So I know gravity wants to kind of roll you over, but keep your right glute planted into the mat. Maybe you even take your right hand and put it on your right hip as a little bit of a reminder to just kind of pull it down, and maybe your right hand notices if it's lifting a little bit. As we let gravity pull our left leg down, getting that stretch in the inner left hip now. Breathing here. On your next inhale, bring your left knee back to center. We're going to take that second version of it, supine twist. So I'm going to bend my right knee, crossing my legs. This time my left leg is on top. So before we had our right leg on top, now I'm going to take my left leg on top. So crisscrossing my legs, left leg on top, and then I'm going to fall over to the right. So you can also use your left leg leading, because my left leg, because crisscrossed over, would be the first one to hit the ground. So that's one way to think about this. And then I'm actually going to keep both my arms out, either straight or cactus style here, as my left leg falls even further towards the ground. Breathing here. Also starting to tune in this feeling of crisscrossing your legs, getting that nice stretch through both outer hips. Go ahead and take one more breath here. Let it go. And then inhale, bring both legs back up. And then this time we're going to pull both your knees into your chest and rock back and forth along your spine. So rocking from your shoulders to your hips. Just getting some loosening through the spine, especially if you were slumping over all day. And then eventually we're going to come into seated and eventually find a tabletop pose. So coming onto hands and knees, all fours here. Let me just check my notes, make sure that's where we're going. Yep, that's right. And then from here, on your next inhale, drop your belly, look forward, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Halloween cat, press your upper back up. Relax your neck. And then back, inhale into cow pose. So moving with your breath here. Taking some cat-cows at your breath pace. Follow your breathing here. Cow on your inhale. Cat on your exhale. Moving back and forth between these two poses to really warm up the spine. Start to activate the core muscles. Get a little bit more stretch in the shoulder muscles here. I know we warmed those up a little bit, but just getting a little bit more into the shoulders, into the hips. And warming up our spine for the rest of class. If it feels good here, you can also take a C-spine, so bending right to left, peeking back at your right hip or your left hip, side to side to switch this up a little bit. Bending back and forth. Go ahead and take one more breath. Even yourself out if you need to. And then we'll meet back here in tabletop pose. So coming back to even, front to back, side to side, and on all fours. And then from here, tuck your toes and find downward facing dog. So press your hips back towards the back of the room and up towards the sky at the same time. And then find downward dog here. Our first downward dog, so maybe you pedal your heels out, pressing one heel towards the mat, bending the opposite knee, and then reversing this. So just walking the dog out, opening up through the back of your legs, all the way from your heel up to your hips and your glutes. Getting a nice stretch there. And then when you're ready, start to walk your feet forward towards the front of your mat, finding a forward fold, and then a rag doll. So I'm going to go ahead and spin to the side. So you can see my rag doll here. My feet are wide, my hands are hanging down, or maybe I grab opposite elbows. And then lastly, my head is going to hang loose here. So bending down, my ponytail's just falling towards the ground. And another option here is to sway side to side here. So moving back and forth, swaying side to side, feeling the weight shift differently between your 2 feet. Breathing here. Go ahead and take one more breath here. And then on your exhale, come back to center, stop swinging, release your hands, walk your feet back in, and then it's a lot on an exhale. And then on your next inhale, so we'll all meet at the next inhale, you're going to rise all the way up to high mountain pose, reach up tall. And exhale, bring your hands to your sides, mountain pose. So Breathing here in mountain pose for 2-3 breaths. Try and stand tall. Roll your shoulders back. Palms face forward. Feet flat on the ground. So this is mountain pose. It's really strong. Your weight's even between your 2 feet, not, popped out to one side. Take a big breath in here. Fill your chest. And then exhale it out. On your next inhale, go ahead and reach up tall, look up, and exhale, forward fold. We'll do some sun salutations. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to your hips, mountain pose. Mixing it up a little bit. Inhale, reach up, high mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing, reach up. Exhale, hands at your sides, mountain pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to mix it up on this one. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up, high mountain pose. And then this time, sink your hips back for chair pose. So, sending my hips back, my knees are bent. I actually pulled my feet closer to each other because that's a little bit more comfortable for me. And we're going to hold here for a breath or two, just getting our body used to this pose. Option to send your arms forward. I think I'll do that so my face isn't blocked by gigantic biceps. But breathing here, pull in your belly button. Point your tailbone down. Take a breath in. Stay for the exhale. One more inhale. And forward fold. Now we're going to do that a little bit quicker. So inhale, halfway lift. The chair pose I meant. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing, reach up. Exhale, chair pose. Big breath in here. And forward fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing, reach up tall. Exhale, chair pose. Big breath in. And forward fold. Nice job. From here, we're actually going to walk out to plank pose. So go ahead and find plank pose wherever you are. And we're going to do the other half of our sun salutations here. So take a breath in. Exhale, lower down to the mat. Knees, thighs, belly, chest. And then inhale, cobra pose. Or straighten your arms, lift your thighs, upward facing dog. Both are options here. And then on your exhale, find downward facing dog. Now take a breath here in between. In and out. Inhale, roll forward onto a plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do 2 more rounds of these kind of plank down dog waves. On your next inhale, roll forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. One more round. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, lower down. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice job here. Take a breath while I check my notes. Breathe here. And then from here, walk your feet forward again, finding a forward fold. And then go ahead and take a ragdoll here as well. So again, I'm going to spin towards you guys. And then if you want to mix it up this time, you have the option to go ahead and clasp your hands behind your low back. Maybe lace your fingertips together. And then just let them fall down towards the earth. Breathing here. But same thing, see if you can let your head and neck go. Take one more breath. Exhale, release your hands, walk your feet back in. And then on your next inhale, rise up to mountain pose again. So coming into mountain pose, standing tall, weights evenly distributed between your hips, your feet, and technically your hips too. It all connects up the chain. And then we're actually going to come back to the top of our mat. So just one of the short sides of your mat. It doesn't have to be top or bottom. We're going to do our warrior sequence next. So we're actually going to come into some warriors here. So I'm at the top of my mat, toes facing forward towards the short edge of my mat. From here, I'm going to inhale, reach up, high mountain pose. And then exhale, find that chair pose again. Breathing here. So this chair pose, like I mentioned, our goal is working towards eagle pose. Our legs are actually bent eagle pose, so that's why we're doing quite a few chairs today, starting to work on eagle pose, finding that stability with bent knees. And then from here, what I want you to do is come up onto your left toes, and then option to lift your left foot up or keep your toes down. And as you do that, slide your left foot back towards the back of the mat, finding crescent lunge. So my left foot sliding all the way back into crescent lunge. Ooh. And then feel free to adjust your feet once you get there. If you got a little balance or you want to get more balance, go ahead and take your feet wider left to right. That might feel good. And maybe bend into your knee a little bit more than chair pose. So now we got our left leg back, so we're going to bend our right knee a little bit more. And then I'm still on the ball of my left foot. Always an option to come to warrior one here as well, if you like that better, or stay here in crescent lunge. Breathing here. And then the next thing we're going to do is actually take eagle arms. So this is really starting to get into eagle pose here. So what I'm going to do is bring my arms in front of me. So they're bent at right angles. My fingertips are up towards the sky. And my biceps are parallel with the floor. And I'm going to bring them together. So squeezing them together as hard as I can. On the side it looks like this. Palms are together. Oops. And then you can stay here, or if you want, take your left elbow on top of your right. So I have now they're crossed. So again, show you from the side here. Right elbow's on the bottom, left elbow's on the top. And then stay here again, or if you want, try and grab your opposite palms here. So I have my right fingertips in my left palm here. So one last time from this side, you can see they're all twisted up. I'm feeling a stretch in my shoulders here. If I want more stretch, I can actually lift my elbows up or send my hands forward away from my face. So these are eagle arms here. So we're in crescent lunge with eagle arms. Breathing here. Another option too, if this doesn't feel good, is to come to I Dream of Genie arms. So just stacking your arms like equal signs and getting that same stretch here. And same way, if you have genie arms, you want to have your right arm on the bottom. Then we're going to move a little bit here. So take a breath in and let it go. Keeping your eagle arms, go ahead and look up, maybe bend back, lift your elbows up. And then exhale, humble your warrior. So bending at the hips, bring your eagle arms down. Inhale, come back up. Go ahead and release your arms now. And then find warrior two. So coming into warrior two, spinning my back toes parallel with the back of the mat, and then my arms reach forward and back. Another option is to bring your hands to your hips. We've done a lot of arm stuff. So that's an option as well. You can let your shoulders relax here. We've done a lot of stretching with them, so you can let them relax. Gazing forward as you breathe. Take a breath in and let it go. Take an inhale, shrug your shoulders, relax them down. Stay for one more breath in, one more breath out, and then reverse your warrior. Reach up and back behind you towards your straight leg. And then cartwheel your hands forward and find a forward fold at the top of your mat. And then from here, turn this into another ragdoll here. Take your feet wide, let your head relax. An option to find the bind here if you like that before, or grab your elbows as well. All are options here. So just resetting ourselves before we go ahead and do the other side. Go ahead and take one more breath in. Then exhale, release your hands, walk your feet back in, and find your way back to mountain pose. Reach up, high mountain pose. And then exhale, find that chair pose again. So breathing here, sinking your hips back again. And then this time what I want you to do is to lift your right foot up. So coming onto your right toes, or maybe lifting your right foot up off the mat. And then we're going to slide our right toes back towards the back of the mat, finding crescent lunge on this side. Ooh. Little balance challenge there too. So I'm actually going to switch around, so I'm not going to show my back to you. But my left leg is forward now, bending my left leg. My right toes are planted on the mat. My right heel is lifted if I'm coming into crescent lunge. Warrior one, again, option to come onto your heel. But I like crescent lunge for this. It stretches out the bottom of your foot and lets your hips be a little bit more even towards the front of the mat. Breathing here. And then we're going to find those eagle arms on this side. So same thing. We're going to start by taking our elbows to right angles in front of us and smooshing our forearms together as much as we can. So breathing here. Or full eagle arms, taking this time our right elbow on top of our left and then grabbing for opposite palms. Always an option for genie arms, or I forgot to mention on the other side, but grabbing for opposite shoulders here. So I'm giving myself like a big bear hug and my elbows are together in front of me. Or doing full eagle arms here. Same thing, for more of a stretch to the back, lift your elbows up or send your palms forward away from your face. Finding what works for you, where it centers in your back and your shoulders. Take a breath here. Take one more breath in here. Let it out as we prepare to move. Keeping your eagle arms. Proud warrior. Look up, reach up, bend back. Exhale, humble your warrior. Bend at the hips. Bring your eagle arms down. And then at the very base of your exhale, inhale back up. Release your arms. And then find warrior two. Spinning my right foot back, parallel to the back of the mat. Bringing my heel down. And then again, my arms can go out or to my hips. My left leg is actually staying right where it was, so my toes are pointing towards the front of my mat. My left knee is bent. It can be bent more or less. You can also walk it left or right as well. But go ahead and find your warrior two here. Same thing on this side. Take a breath in and let it go. Inhale, shrug your shoulders. Relax them down. One more breath in. Let it go. And then reverse your warrior. Reach up and back with your left hand. Reaches back behind you towards your straightened leg. And then exhale, come forward, finding a forward fold. On your next inhale, go ahead and rise all the way up to standing. And find my mountain pose again. So we're almost ready for eagle here. We've stretched out our legs, we've done eagle legs, we've stretched out our arms, we've done eagle arms. The last thing I wanted to work on was some balances. So we're going to start off with figure 4 or a gentleman's pose. So start to root your weight into your right leg, and then take your left ankle on top of your right knee. So it's kind of like a figure 4. It's not a tree pose where my foot is on the side, but I'm actually going to have my ankle on top of my leg here. So as you can see, it makes like a 4. I see a backwards 4, but nevertheless a figure 4. And then you're going to take your hands to heart center and start to bend your right leg like chair pose. So I'm flexing my left foot as well. So my left foot is off the mat, I'm flexing it, and I'm bending my right knee like chair pose. You might even find it a little bit easier than chair pose because you're not squeezing your thighs together. And then my right leg is staying up on my knee because I have it bent. I'm kind of pulling it in with my left leg. If it starts to fall, you can always come back, change the angle. And if you're really struggling, you can always hold on to it too. Hold on to it for safekeeping. We're going to hold on for one more breath here, in and out. And then straighten your right knee, drop your left foot, and shake this side out. Move your right ankle, move your right toes. And then on your left side, we're going to go ahead and do that one. So root into your left leg, and then this time you're going to come to a figure 4 here. So your right ankle is going to come onto your left knee. So mine looks like a 4 now. I don't know what yours looks like. I'm going to start by flexing my right foot this time. That usually helps you kind of stay up. And then you should challenge yourself here. Bring your hands to heart center and bend your left knee like chair pose. You might also feel a nice hip stretch here. It's kind of like pigeon pose on our backs. We're getting that stretch through our outer right hips as we start to bend the left knee. Also notice that your chest is probably coming forward. That's okay, that's right. Back here would be really hard to balance, but your chest is probably leaning forward a little bit. That's why we kind of put our hands here to help that lean, help that balance forward to back. Go ahead and take one more breath on this side, and then come on out of this side. Shake it out. Just shaking it out between each side. And then we're finally ready for eagle pose. Woo! So for eagle pose, start to root your weight into your right side again. And then you can come back to these figure 4 legs if you really like that. Or just like we did at the beginning, find these lady legs. Bring your left knee all the way on top of your right leg. Then start to sink in like chair pose. You might even find this easier than that figure 4 gentleman's balance because you don't have to worry about your leg falling off. And then if you want eagle arms, this time my left elbow is going to go underneath my right. So I'm going to bring my right elbow on top. And again, grab for opposite shoulders or opposite palms. And you're probably looking right at your hands. I'm moving mine just so, again, I can keep looking at the camera, you can keep hearing me. And then to challenge yourself, you can sink even deeper into your right leg. Take a breath in and out. And then go ahead, sweep up and out of this side and shake it out. Nice job. So like I said, eagle's pretty advanced. So awesome job if you held it even for a second. And then we're going to root our weight into our left leg for eagle on the other side. So now that you know how to do this, you can always practice it at any time. And then the same thing, maybe we come to figure 4 here, bringing our right ankle onto our left knee again. Or find those lady legs here. So cross your right leg over and sink down into your left leg, almost like you're sitting in a chair. And then for the arms, we're again going to do the opposite. So our right elbow goes underneath, left elbow comes on top, and then grab for opposite palms. So it's almost like, I like to think of it, which when I wonder what arms to do, it's almost like the same side could touch each other. So if I were to drop, my right elbow would touch my right knee. No need to do that. That's a big challenge. So that's how you can remember what side. So the same side leg is crossing over as your elbow's crossing under. So right leg over, right arm under is another way to think of it. And then from here on this side, take one more breath in, stay for the exhale, and then sweep up and out. Find your big eagle arms and then shake it out. Nice job. So that was our eagle pose. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and come onto our backs. Go ahead and release from this side. Or not release from this side. We're going to go ahead and relax a little bit more. Do some final poses. Just stretch out and relax. So we're going to start with bridge pose. So for my back, I'm going to go ahead and pull my heels in close to my glutes. They're about hips width apart, left to right. Place my hands on the mat, and on my next inhale, lift my hips up into the sky. Bridge pose. On every inhale, think about lifting my hips higher, and on every exhale, squeezing my glutes together. And then if I want, I can mix it up by lacing my fingers together and rolling my shoulder blades a little bit more underneath me. But same thing, no matter what my arms are doing, still squeezing my glutes on the exhale. Hold for 2 more breaths at your own pace here. And then on your second exhale, go ahead and release your hands and roll down to the mat. I'm getting some flickering, so I hope we're doing okay as far as the live stream goes. Again, if it pops out before we're done, we'll just start another one, or if it's close enough, we'll probably just end it. Go ahead and windshield wipe your legs side to side here, back and forth. And then come back for a second bridge pose. So setting up my heels again, close to my glutes. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and lift your hips up again. Breathing here. Same thing, if you want to lace your fingers underneath, you can do that as well. But maybe you lift your hips up a little higher this time, using your inhales to really power you up, and your exhales to squeeze your glutes to hold you up there. This time, 3 breaths at your own pace. Counting them out slowly, using your breath. I got 1 more. And then on my exhale, I'm going to slowly come back down. So go ahead, windshield wipe your legs here once you're back down on the mat. But don't let my inhales or exhales influence you. And then from here, we're going to do a hip opener. So if you want to do figure 4 on your back, you can do that here. But we've done a lot of figure 4 today, so I thought we would do something different and take cow face pose. So for cow face, you're actually going to roll back up to seated. So you can take a few reps if you want. I'm going to go ahead and face the front. Send your legs long out in front of you. And now cow face as well is similar in that we are going to stretch the outer hips. We've done a lot of that with our figure 4. Cow face is a little bit more intense. Our knees are a little bit closer, like eagle pose. But like I mentioned, we have been stretching them out. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing that. So for cow pose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend both my knees. And then I'm going to take my right foot and actually bring it back underneath my left leg. And I want to actually set it up so that my right knee is close to pointing forward. So you can see my left foot is over here. My right foot is over here on my left side. My right knee is pointing forward. And then I'm actually going to walk my left leg over, across my body. And maybe you stay here. This might be good. Or maybe you bring your left foot back towards your right hip. So I'm working on stacking my knees on top of each other. As you can see, even mine aren't perfectly on top of each other. But my right foot's on, I just got totally mixed around right and left. But anyway, my left knee's on the bottom and my feet are on opposite sides. My left foot's on the right, my right foot's on the left. And then you're starting to feel it here, so that's stretching the outside of your hips. Your left glute might be lifting up to get you into this pose. Totally okay. But you might get a little bit more stretch if you start to pull it down. So maybe your left glute's on the mat, maybe you're pulling it down even closer. And then I also like to flex my feet here as well, so this gets a little bit more stretch as well. And then if you want here, you can start to bend forward at the hips, bringing your chest down towards your knees if you want a little bit more stretch. Otherwise, take your hands out to the side as a little bit extra support here. So, cow face pose. Someone thought we looked like a cow's face, so that's why it's called that. Breathing here. Go ahead and take one more breath here. And then we're going to unwind from this side. So go ahead, send your feet forward and then rock back and forth. Shake your legs out. And then just to center in between, we're going to take a seated forward fold. So go ahead and inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach forward. Maybe grab your legs, grab your toes, grab the floor. Whatever you want, wherever they land, no pressure. On your next inhale, go ahead and walk up, find seated again. And then we're going to do cow face on the other side, but last time we had our left leg on top. This time we're going to have our left leg on the bottom and our right leg on top. So go ahead and bend both knees slightly again. I'm going to start with my left leg and take it underneath my right leg. My left knee is pointing forward. My left foot is over here on my right. And then I'm going to take my right foot and walk it over to the left side. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And then maybe pull it back and try and stack my legs on this side. So stacking my knees up as close to stacked as I can. Flexing both feet. And then finding cow face on this side. So if it feels like you just did this, this side, go ahead and switch it around, switch your legs, whichever you want to do. But again, I'm sitting up tall, maybe reaching my arms out, or maybe walking my fingertips forward, bringing my chest towards my knees. That's an option as well. Finding this cow face pose. Again, the stretch is a little bit more advanced. You can even get your shoulders into it. Maybe we'll do that a different time. But like I mentioned, we did a lot of hip work today, so we're going to go ahead and do this as our hip opener today. If you like it, let me know, and we can definitely do it a little bit more. Again, breathing here, breathing into your hips, stretching them out. Holding these poses a little bit longer now that we're warmed up in the hips, so you can get a nice stretch there. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths on this side. Finishing up our cow face pose. Finishing up our more relaxed stretches. And then go ahead and unwind from this side. Send your legs out again. And we're actually going to make our way onto our backs again. So if you want, you can roll back. And then like I mentioned, we did a lot of outer hip stretching. We're going to stretch our inner hips this time. So we'll take Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall out to either side. So place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And just feel the breath here. With your hands as they rise up and down. Breathing in and out. Letting your knees fall out to the side. If you want more of a stretch, pull your heels in closer to you. And if you want this to be more restorative, or you're feeling a little bit of pain, a little bit of pinching, walk your feet down until you find that nice gentle stretch. So go ahead and find what works for you anywhere in between. And then just breathe here. This is our final pose as well, so if there's anything else your body's craving, now's your chance to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and find any other pose that you liked from class, any other pose you want to work on, anything else you want to stretch out or do. Otherwise, just hang out here with us in Supta Baddha Konasana until the end of class. And then when you're ready, go ahead and start to make your way into your final Shavasana or